Welcome to the Abroad Link blog, your window into the world of translation and international communication. I'm Anna, and today we present a new article designed to enlighten, inspire, and take you on a journey through words. Enjoy! Regulatory MDR Translation Style Guide. Discover how a dedicated regulatory style guide standardizes terminology, reduces compliance risk, and streamlines multilingual medical device documentation under the MDR. When handling multilingual technical documentation, IFUs, labeling, technical sheets, clinical materials, accurate translation alone is not enough. The distinction between a well-controlled corpus and one that is inconsistent from one language to another lies in a simple yet frequently absent tool, a style guide dedicated to regulatory translation. For PRRCs, QARA professionals, and technical documentation writers, this guide serves as a decision-making framework covering tone, terminology, structure, levels of obligation, and readability requirements. In an MDR context, where the clarity of user information is paramount, it helps you minimize ambiguity and manage updates effectively.
Why a regulatory medical translation style guide is essential under the MDR. The MDR regulation, EU 2017-745, on medical devices stipulates that accompanying information must be provided in languages accepted by the relevant member states and remain understandable to the intended user. In practice, the challenge lies not only in sentence-by-sentence translation, but in maintaining consistency across the entire documentation system. The same concepts, the same warnings, and the same terminology choices across numerous deliverables and versions. When deploying a device across multiple countries, language requirements vary. For more details, you can refer to the Overview of Language Requirements, European Commission.
What happens when you don't have a style guide? Without a style guide, inconsistencies develop over time and across projects. These inconsistencies may not be apparent at first, and often only emerge during a global update, when expanding to new countries, or during the quality review. You then find yourself having to revisit and make new decisions continuously. This translates into fluctuating terminology, inconsistent style, and uneven readability, long sentences, non-parallel lists. In safety-critical content, these variations impair understanding and are detrimental in many respects, including compliance. As a reference point, the FDA requirements on device labeling clearly illustrate the importance of stable and controlled wording.
The tool example. Invest time up front, or waste it every single day. Imagine two people tasked with assembling a precision mechanism. The first uses a basic, ill-fitted tool. It gets the job done, but slips, strains, and scratches the piece. This person has to stop often, make adjustments, double-check everything, and ends up second-guessing each turn of the screw. The second took the time to set up an efficient tool, which is properly calibrated with the right attachments, clear markers, and perfect torque control. At first, this takes a bit of time, but afterwards, each action is safer, faster, hassle-free, and easy to repeat. Think of your style guide as this carefully prepared tool, an initial investment for lasting gains in efficiency, consistency, and risk control, especially when juggling multiple versions and languages.
What should a genuinely effective style guide for a medical device contain? A good style guide is concise, practical, and intended for real-world application. The goal is not to theorize, but to cut out guesswork. It should allow the different people involved in writing to adhere to specific guidelines and reference materials. Start with the rules for language and tone for each target language, the use of you, a direct style for IFUs, the expected level of technicality, rules for expressing obligation and prohibition, sentence length, and management of warnings.
Then, define approved and forbidden terminology, validated equivalents, synonyms to avoid, and guidelines for acronyms and component names. This is the core of a style guide for language consistency. Finally, set out the structural conventions, titles, lists, tables, internal references, and standardized formats for units, numbers, and dates. To define the scope of the information to be provided, you can refer to recognized standards without copying them, such as ISO 152231, symbols for medical devices, and ISO 20417, information to be supplied by the manufacturer. From an international perspective, the IMDRF labeling principles also serve as a valuable basis for aligning your approach.
How to develop a practical style guide without it becoming just another document. A common trap is producing a guide that is overly long, overly general, and consequently unused. To avoid this, start from real-world practice and proceed iteratively. Start with a concise, usable version, then enrich it as real cases emerge. In concrete terms, start with your most critical documents, IFUs, labeling, safety content, before broadening the scope. This is a team-wide effort that requires collaboration between different departments. You need to gather everyone's requirements and constraints, then have the drafted style guide approved by all. For better readability and to keep the tool alive, add a proofreading checklist page and before-after examples. This is especially recommended for your most sensitive sections, such as warnings, precautions, contraindications, and step-by-step instructions.
Consistency across IFUs, website and marketing material. One message, multiple platforms. In real life, device information is not confined to the IFU. It also appears on the website, in marketing materials, and at distributor points of sale. This is where inconsistencies become dangerous. A marketing phrase may conflict with contraindications or usage limitations, a sales claim could inadvertently expand intended use, and a poorly translated indication can alter risk perception. If you're already tackling these issues, link your style guide to a wider consistency plan, especially between IFUs, web content, and marketing materials, ensuring IFU website marketing consistency within the MDR framework and adapting IFUs to the local market while maintaining MDR compliance.
The role of a translation company in developing and upholding the style guide. Building a style guide is not just about writing rules. It's about creating a practical, evolving tool that is compatible with your workflows, translation memories, QA, proofreading, change management. A specialized agency helps turn everyone's implicit requirements into a comprehensive reference. In practice, a translation company can support you in structuring the style guide, format, sections, examples, building or consolidating your terminology database, and implementing quality controls aligned with your requirements. For medical device translation, it helps ensure alignment with European requirements. To achieve this, refer to the guidance documents approved by the MDCG.
Conclusion. A style guide is a control tool. It consolidates consistency, speeds up review and validation processes, and limits inconsistencies in multilingual documentation. Creating such a tool requires an initial investment, but the medium and long-term benefits are invaluable. Our final piece of advice if you want to get started. The goal is not to achieve perfection from the first version. Aim for a short, practical style guide for regulatory translation, then expand it over time with each project. This is how it will become a true quality asset.
That concludes this article. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss any of our upcoming posts. All the links are in the description. Thank you again for your loyalty, and see you soon.